Hello, everyone,
Hi, everyone.
and welcome to a very special edition of Karma is a Killer Game. Why is it a special edition? Because every edition is special.
Dickhead.
We're panicking for a second there.
So what the fuck are you on about? I'm Carmel.
And I'm Mark, and today we're going to be analysing episode 3 of Squid Games. This episode is called The Man with the Umbrella. I was really thrown off by the title of it when we first saw it flash up on Netflix, but it makes perfect sense once you're watching it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a strange name, though.
It is until you see what happens in the show. I thought it was something to do with the umbrella that his daughter was looking at in the previous episode.
Yeah, because you expected the daughter to walk out and not a step back, you know?
Yeah, I had a major fucking brain fart. I had no idea what that title could mean. Anyway, let's jump straight in. So the episode follows on directly from the previous episode. It's the early hours of the morning.
I remember the theme song.
What is it?
No?
It is. It's just mine's better.
Twat.
So it's the early hours of the morning and we see a fleet of the grey people carrier vans heading towards the docks. Now, the young cop character, I still can't remember his name, is actually tailing one of these vans. He follows them to the docks.
Yeah.
And he's quite sneaky about it. He's very crafty, this guy. Does he send a message or does he call?
He gets out of his car. He sends his boss a message saying, "Hey, chief, not going to be in today. I'll contact you."
Yeah.
If we send that message, we'll get sacked.
Yeah, he basically says, "Hey, I'm not coming to work today. I'll talk to you later." So he manages to get underneath one of the vans without the guard driving the van seeing him. And he kind of does a proper, like, James Bond, like gripping underneath the van and gets pulling himself up off the floor so he doesn't get his back scraped to fuck. And he manages to get on board what looks like some kind of ferry. Once they're on the ferry, you can see just how many vehicles there are. There's a shit ton. The cop gets out from underneath one of the vans and he's sneaking around the other vans, trying not to get caught by the guards. And coincidentally, the van that he manages to find open and get into is the one that's got Gi Hun inside, passed out from this nerve gas that puts everyone to sleep. So he gets into the van and pretends to be knocked out. You hear one of the guards say over a loudspeaker, "Player inspection." One of the guards gets into the van to do the player inspection and he starts scanning all of the people inside the van's face. So he scans Gi Hun and we see that somehow it's connected and shows Gi Hun after scanning the neck, which is where a chip has been implanted when they were first picked up. He scans Gi Hun. It crops up, player 456. We're expecting this guy. He then goes over to the young cop character, scans his neck. He scans both sides, checks all over to see if there's any sign of this chip, and there's no response from his little machine. Just as it does that, the cop grabs the guard. They get into a fight, a tussle, and he manages to choke out the guard. He then steals the guard's outfit and swaps clothes. Dressed as the guard, he gets out of the van and throws is he unconscious or dead? I thought he was unconscious, but...
Well, he's floating face down, so if he was unconscious, he's now dead because he'll drown.
Yeah, if he wasn't dead before, he is now.
Exactly, it's fine.
He throws the unconscious guard or dead guard overboard without anybody noticing until one of the guards sees him at the edge of the boat and yells, "Hey you, what are you doing?" And he goes over and the cop disguised as the guard says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm seasick. I was being sick." And the guard says something like, "Don't you know the rules? You're not supposed to talk to people that are higher ranked than you." And this is the first time that they sort of bring up the ranks of the guards. So I wanted to just check with you to see if you're on the same wavelength as me. So we've seen 3 guards so far, haven't we?
So I think the top one is square, the middle one is triangle, and the bottom is circle.
Yeah. Young cop character, he's grabbed one of the circle guards, which we think is the lowest rank. They tend to be unarmed. They're sort of your little checkers, they're your cleaners, they're quite low down in the rankage. You've then got the triangle guards. They all seem to be armed. Yeah. They all seem to have weapons. They're the ones that when somebody gets eliminated, they kill them. And then you've got the square guards who seem to be the highest because they're the ones barking all the orders, telling people what to do.
They just do what they want, really.
Yeah. I don't know if the symbols are symbolic in any way. The only thing I can think of is maybe a triangle looks kind of like a bullet.
I think they're all part of the Squid Game.
Yeah.
The logo.
Oh, no shit. Oh, got it, right. I think,
The Squid Game on the floor when they play the game.
yeah, I get that, but also,
But that makes no sense though, because if it was that, you'd have the square as the lower rank, the triangle as the middle rank, and the circle as the top rank, because it's the circle that you need to get to. So I think they did it backwards, but I don't know the culture, so that's just...
Possibly. Just looking at, again, completely unrelated, but the PlayStation controller, right? We just see it as like triangle, X, circle, square.
Yeah, I think the X is missing, then it's just PlayStation.
Well, in Japan, those symbols actually have a purpose. They're not just there to differentiate the buttons. So if you look at the controller, square is supposed to be like menu or a list.
Yeah.
Triangle usually controls like a camera, so it makes you go into like first person. And circle is okay on like menus and stuff. I
thought that was X.
That's in England. If you play a Japanese PlayStation, it's the other way around. X takes you back, because X is like no, isn't it?
Yeah.
And circle is yes in their culture. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. I know the X is missing, but I wonder if like O is seen as like, okay, the peaceful one, not peaceful, but like, you know, the okay one.
Yeah.
And then you've got triangle, which is, I guess, is like direct, you know, murderous. They're the hitmen. And then you've got square, which is like the menu, the commander, the...
Maybe.
Yeah.
See, I'm an Xbox girly or a Nintendo girly, so...
They wouldn't look right walking around with a big fucking A on their head, or a B, or a...
Well, if they walked around as an A on the head, it means something completely different. I don't know. Have you seen Easy A?
No.
She walks around with the A on her chest.
Right.
Because it means she's a harlot.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's not.
Why does this always... Why does this always go back to this subject? Look, brother would look mad walking around dressed as a fucking Wiimote. It's fine. Let's carry on. So... Oh, my computer's just turned off.
It's because you don't like the kinky side of life. Disagrees with you.
So after throwing this cop overboard, we then see all of the players being wheeled into the common room. So they've now arrived at this facility, the Squid Game facility, and they're all being wheeled from, I guess, the vehicles that have now landed on the island through to the common room. And we see that they're being sort of stripped of their civilian clothes. They're being put into the Squid Game's uniform, the like teal uniform with their player number on.
Yeah.
Any personal possessions that they have are being taken off of them. Now, they're all fast asleep except for one. I don't know how she's not asleep, but Sabiak manages to take back her knife.
No, you missed a bit. What? Sabiak puts the knife in the guard's pocket.
Right.
So she's pretending to be asleep the whole time, and they undress her, and then she retrieves it back once she's been dressed.
So even cleverer, she plants the knife on the guard and then pickpockets it back after she's had her clothes swapped.
Yeah.
Well, we already know she's like a skilled pickpocket.
She's awesome. I look at this character. She's like my favourite character. I'm not sure.
She is pretty cool. Yeah. So the next scene is everybody's in their uniform. They're in the common room on the bunk beds, and Ilnam, and he's being awoken by Gi Hun. Ilnam's super happy to see Gi Hun. He's happy that he's back. Gi Hun says, I thought you were dead. You were taking a really long time to wake up. And Ilnam says, I won't die so easily, you know. Gi Hun says he came back because of what Ilnam said. He doesn't specify exactly, but I guess it's about kind of taking control of his life, not wanting to sit around waiting to die. And wanting to take orders. Yeah, that conversation outside that newsagent in the previous episode is obviously what's kind of cemented in Gi Hun's head that this is the right thing for him to do.
Yeah.
So we also see some of the other players that have returned. One is the crazy woman who was one of the first people to say, please let me go. I've got a baby, who couldn't name who that baby is.
No, she said the baby doesn't have a name yet.
Yeah. So she's back, despite, being the first to say, please let me go.
I love what Gi Hun says, because he says, wonder if she's named a baby.
We also see that Sung Woo has returned, and Gi Hun asks Sung Woo, did you speak to your mom in the end? And Sung Woo, he doesn't answer, but you could tell he's basically saying that. Yeah. We also see Ali. They have a conversation. It's quite cute, actually. They're talking about sort of like, Gi Hun says Sung Woo is like he's
brains.
He's the brains of the operation. Gi Hun is like a sergeant in the army, and Ali can be like their soldier in training camp.
Because he's got the strength.
Yeah. And Ali, I think we spoke about about this in the previous episode.
Yeah, if he actually understands Korean.
I don't know if we kept it in the recording, but we spoke about...
You read it, that's not my issue.
I can't remember if I kept it in there or not. But we spoke about if Ali can speak perfect Korean. And this is one of those occasions I said where he does sometimes ask, what do you mean? And he didn't know what a training camp was. I don't think it's that he doesn't know what a training camp is. I think it's that...
misunderstood what they said.
Yeah, they've obviously said training camp in Korean, and not being Korean, Ali doesn't know what that term means. So Gi Hun has to explain that, you know, it's where you go to train as a soldier and you're our trainee, because they've all agreed to be part of a team, all three of them.
Yeah.
While they're talking about being a team, Ilnam also says, oh, can I join you? Gi Hun is really keen to have him on the team. He's like, yeah, you could be the grizzled old major, been in the army since you were a kid. And he seems really happy to have him as part of the team, and so does Ali. But if you look at Sung-woo, he doesn't look so happy to have this old man on the team.
No.
And this is where we see sort of the strategizing of Sung-woo. We see a little bit of it.
He annoyed in this episode.
So while Gi Hun and the others are kind of building their little team, we see the player 101, the bully gangster character, is also doing the same.
Penis head.
The penis face. And he's also trying to recruit people. One of them is Sabiak. He says that he could accept her as part of the team. They were really good on the outside together. He could do her a favor. But Sabiak refuses.
She calls him a dumbass.
She calls him a dumbass, a dirty pickpocket who takes from all his underlings and even stole from his boss. While Sabiak and player 101 are talking, player 212, the crazy one, says she wants to join the team. And she says, I'm good at everything except the things I can't do. Which is really fucking funny. Player 101 insinuates that she can join in exchange for sex.
Yeah.
Which is kind of gross.
So this is another reason why I think 101 did stuff to sex.
Yeah. The more I think about it, I can see him. I can see his character doing that. Him and his cronies laugh about it because obviously she'd be the only woman on his team. They walk off and player 212 mutters assholes under her breath.
That made me giggle.
Yeah. We then see the guards talking to the front man.
Oh, I actually did calculations.
Did you? Go on.
Yeah. He says that 7% didn't return, so 7% is 14 people, and 93% did return, which is 187 people.
Are you doing that out of 256?
No, 201.
456 because...
201.
Yeah. So, 93% of the players did come back.
Yeah, of 201.
Yeah.
So 93 of the players is 187 players.
Yeah. So what
but
do you...
14 players didn't come back.
Yeah. So what do you think happens to those 14 players then?
Well, he said keep an eye on them, but I wonder if they try and get them back or if they kill them.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because they're
a loose end.
Yeah.
This is what I find quite strange because they are a loose end, right? Which is probably why he says keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
But this organization is so well hidden. Kind of like how the police treated Gi Hun.
Yeah.
When he first came out, he was telling everyone, he was saying this is some...
Yeah, they're going to think that they're crazy. So maybe they don't kill them. I don't know. It's one of those that it's just like they're loose ends.
Yeah.
I thought that it would be that if the majority wanted to go, then they all went. But if the majority wanted to come back, they all had to come back.
No.
But from this, it looks like they didn't. But 14 people that didn't turn up after 101 said no, they wanted to go home. 14 people's not that many if you think about it.
No, it's not. But that's 14 people that obviously, after going through that first game and seeing all those people died, thought better of it and thought, I'm not coming back. But it'll be interesting to see if any of those 14 are mentioned because, I kind of want to know what they do with people that...
Yeah, and what numbers were they, just so we can see if we can find them later in the series. But I don't know if it's mentioned again. I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah.
The players are now given their lunch or their dinner. And it's rice, fried eggs, and vegetables. And Nam talks about how this reminds him of when his wife used to pack his lunch for him and his kids.
So cute.
Gi Hun says it would be better if the rice was piping hot. And he talks about how when him and Sung-woo were kids, they used to heat their lunch tin with the rice in on a stove, I think, or a little fire. And they used to kind of roast the rice and burn it. While they're talking about this and having a good time, Sung-woo then tells them all to get serious. We need to now start thinking strategically and we can't be reminiscing and thinking like children. So they speculate about what the next game could be, and they name a bunch of Korean games, although some of them are I'm familiar with, like they talked about freeze tag,
hopscotch, tag.
And then they talk about girls games and
Cat's Cradle.
What's
I used to play that. It's elastic with your hands, and you used to do different things with the elastic.
Oh.
And then some of them involve two people having to do them, and you used to make different things like a Cat's Cradle and all different things.
Is that a girls' game? Because it sounds like it could be unisex. So
yeah, but in Korea, they have things for sexes where like the women are supposed to stay at home and be homemakers, whereas the men are supposed to be the breadwinners.
Right.
So it makes sense that they then separate the games as well.
Right. Ali says he doesn't know any of the children's games that they're talking about. But Sang-woo says, don't worry, we'll teach you them if and when we need to. So the next scene is where we see the guards going back to their own rooms. So they don't share a big communal room like the players do. They all have their own little, I guess, like apartment. No, I don't say their apartment. Isn't it much smaller? Yeah.
It's just a room.
It's a room. I think there's a shower.
Is there?
I think so. Or like a toilet. Little
toilet, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little metal toilet, isn't it?
Yeah. As all the guards are lining up to go into their rooms at the end of the day, I think there's an automated voice that says, thank you for your work
Thank you for
today.
the day.
Yeah. Obviously, the cop not being too familiar with the way the key goes into the door and stuff, he's a bit awkward when he's unlocking the door to his room, and the guard stood next to him, which I guess would be the cop's guard 29.
Yeah, it might be 28.
Maybe 28 or 30, or if it's like...
It depends if it's odds, evens.
Yeah.
We didn't pay that much attention, did we?
Yeah. Either way, the guard that's in the room next to him kind of sees that he's a bit awkward with the way he opens the door, and the cop goes into his room quite quickly and closes the door behind him. The next scene is the Squid Game's common room. Blacked out, it's nighttime, and player 212, the crazy woman, is screaming at the door, yelling that she needs to use... She's yelling that she needs to use the bathroom. She needs to take a piss.
She was talking to a triangle guard and then said, get me your boss, the one with the square on his face.
Yeah.
So she's already clocked.
She already knows the rank order.
Yeah.
These guys. The square guard opens a little flap in the door. It's like one of those prison doors, and says, you aren't allowed to leave the room after curfew. Turns around, leaves, closes the flap in the door, and this angers player 212, who screams and says, I'm going to take a piss on the floor then.
I do it right in front of everyone.
Yeah. And she, I don't know if she pretends or if she actually does. She pulls the child.
She pulls the child down and squats. I don't think she is actually going to do it. I just think she wants to get the attention.
And then as she does that, the door opens and the triangle guard comes in. And he is about to let her go and use the bathroom, but Sabiak barges in and says, I need to use the toilet too.
Yeah.
And 212 and Sabiak have a bit of a back and forth about how all the effort to get this toilet break has been given.
Not a back and forth. Sabiak says fuck all to 212. She just gives her looks. It's amazing.
212 basically says, I'm the one that's been screaming and shouting, and you're just going to jump in and take the bathroom break, huh? When I've worked hard for this. So they both get to go use the bathroom. We then see back in the cops' little apartment room that the guards also get their meals catered for them.
Yeah, I noticed they also have security cameras as well.
Yeah, all of the rooms have security cameras in, so the cop has to be very careful about how much of his face he reveals. So he gets his food delivered to him through kind of a flap.
It's like what you see on TV prison.
Yeah.
Prisoners get delivered their food.
Yeah, and obviously now he needs to take his mask off to be able to eat his food. So he kind of strategically sits at his little desk, facing away from the camera so that he can eat this meal.
He angles himself so he's facing away from the camera, but also the mirror. The mirror reflects his face.
Yeah.
But it only reflects part of his face, so they can't actually see his full face in that reflection either.
Yeah. We then see the toilets.
Oh, yeah, this is gross.
Yeah, we see the toilets of the little Squid Games arena, and it looks like a public bathroom, quite clean, but it's got your toilet cubicles, and Sabiak and player 212 both go in and they go to their respective cubicles. Player 212 sits on the toilet, and we see that she has smuggled a little container with cigarettes and a lighter in an orifice. And she takes out one of the cigarettes and starts smoking it. As she's doing that, the toilet cubicle door suddenly bursts open and in comes Sabiak.
It's a bit funny.
And player 212's like, what the fuck? Can I have some privacy? And Sabiak whips out the knife that she pickpocketed back off the guard. And suddenly player 212 is very much like, oh shit. And actually we see that Sabiak isn't about to shank this woman in the toilets.
I fucking would have. That's insane.
She instead wants to get to the air vent that's above the cubicle that player 212 is in. Player 212 is first of all like, what the fuck are you doing? Sabiak says, I want to open that vent using this knife like a screwdriver, get up there, and I want to take a look around. And player 212 thinks that's a pretty good idea, so she gives her a boost up and agrees to act as a distraction to give Sabiak the time to get up there and have a look around. Sabiak then goes crawling through, it looks like something out of Mission Impossible or Die Hard, crawling through these air vents, making her way around the facility. And while she's doing this, player 212 is distracting the guards who are waiting outside the bathroom by taking the dankest shit of 2021.
She's screaming her head off about being constipated and it's not coming out. To me, this makes it more obvious that something's not quite right in there because she's like...
She's overcompensating.
Yeah. To me, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on in there? So I'd go in to find out.
So while player 212 is distracting by yelling that she hasn't got any toilet paper and it's taking a long time, Sabiak is crawling around inside the vents and she sees what looks like the kitchen where the meals are prepared. And she looks through the vent and sees that the guards are all there cooking this concoction of stuff in these vats. And as she's looking down into this place, this rat crawls onto her, and that causes her to kind of twitch to get this rat to fall off her shoulder. And one of the guards that's mixing the mixture kind of hears this, and I think they're going to say something or report it, but then one of the guard comes over and says, what are you doing? Get back to mixing. So back in the toilets, the guard is now coming into the room, and you could tell he suspects something's going on. This woman's being overly descriptive of her shit. Goes over to the toilet cubicle, rips the door open, and we see player 212 taking a shit with Sabiak stood next to her holding toilet paper for her.
She's also holding a nose.
And also holding a nose. And 212 gets super angry at the guard, calls him a pervert, says, when we get out of here, I'm going to sue you. That's sexual harassment. So they've essentially got away with it.
Yeah.
Back in the guard's room where the cop, or now undercover cop, is sat, he, under the cover of his bed, is writing on the notes app on his phone.
Yeah.
And he's writing certain things about what he's experienced so far.
So he writes Desert Island, abductions, surveillance, basement, and mask.
Yeah. You'd think he'd write a text message, but I don't think he's got any.
So he hasn't got any signal, so that's because he did look at his signal first. That's why he went onto his notes.
Yeah. As the cop is under the blanket typing this out, he hears someone coughing, which I think is the guard next door to him, the one that kind of saw him, acted a bit strangely, and he's coughing quite badly.
Sounds more like crying to me.
No, it's coughing. Back in the common room, Sabiak and 212 get let into the room after their toilet break, and 212 asks Sabiak, what did you see? What did you see? And Sabiak says, I'll tell you in the morning. Sang-woo overheard them talking, so Sang-woo now knows that Sabiak knows something.
Yeah.
The next day, everyone's woken up for their breakfast, and 212 approaches Sabiak again and says, hey, you said to me you'd tell me what you saw in the morning. What is it? And Sabiak says, I don't know. They were cooking something. They were mixing something. And 212 basically says, well, that's pretty useless. What am I supposed to do with that? And Sabiak says, it smelt like sugar.
Yeah.
And 212 says, again, that's useless. I can't do anything with that.
It makes me laugh because she's like, oh, I fancy something sweet, and walks to get breakfast. So she's probably thinking they was cooking breakfast.
Yeah, like pancakes or something.
So they go and get the breakfast, and 456 is handed a roll in milk. And he says, can I have chocolate milk? Normal milk makes my tummy hurt.
He says, but when I was a kid, I couldn't drink the regular milk.
I had to miss milk time.
Yeah. He says I couldn't digest it. So is he lactose intolerant or?
Well, I don't know, because he can digest chocolate milk.
Yeah. And the guard just basically looks at him like...
Well, it doesn't even look at him because he's got a face mask on.
Yeah, but if you could see the guard's face, it'd be like, are you for fucking real? Ain't fucking milk and bread.
Like, you're going to get a shot anyway, so shut the fuck up.
You can't be picky when you're about to die.
So,
Did you catch what
oh, Ilnam, yeah.
Oh, Ilnam hears Gi Hun asking, can I have chocolate milk? And he says, ha, you were probably a child who got spanked a lot growing up, no? And Gi Hun says, yeah, how did you know? And Ilnam says, you are just like my son. He used to get spanked a lot as well.
And he walks off giggling to himself. I really like it.
Ilnam's great. Songwoo, Ali, Ilnam, and Gi Hun all sit down together to eat their breakfast. And Songwoo gives Ali his own bread roll and says, I don't eat in the morning. And Ali's sort of a bit unsure. He says, are you sure about this? And Gi Hun says, geniuses don't need to eat a lot. Did you not know that? And then Gi Hun gives Ali his milk. So Ali basically gets double portions that morning. Ali is very thankful for that. There's then an announcement saying that the next game is going to start shortly. And we see a new character who we haven't seen before, a guy in glasses. He's one of the players. And he's not just eating his bread roll, he's picking through the bread roll like he's trying to find something. And he finds a small piece of pink paper. We don't see what's on that pink paper yet, but somebody's clearly left him a note in his bread roll.
Yeah.
So there's something special about this guy. We then have a shot of the bodies from the first game being moved from one area to another. They're in the black and pink presents. So on the way to the next game, Songwoo actually approaches Sabyok and says, I know that you know something about this next game. I overheard you last night telling player 212 that you weren't quite sure what you saw. Tell me what you saw, because you're from North Korea, so you wouldn't have had the opportunity to play children's games, whereas I was raised in South Korea. I know all about children's games. Tell me what you saw and maybe I can figure out what the next game will be. And Sabyok says, I don't know what I saw. They were mixing something. It smelled like sugar.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean anything to Songwoo at this point. They're then taken into a new area that kind of looks like a playground. They've got an oversized slide in there. I think there's an oversized roundabout.
Swing.
A swing, oversized monkey bars. And all of the players are taken in there and they start talking amongst themselves about what this game could be.
Yeah.
And Gi Hun suggests maybe the game will be you have to climb the monkey bars without falling off, or maybe it's something to do with the roundabout that's there. Gi Hun points out the shapes, and there is...
So it's circle, triangle, star, umbrella.
Yeah. And Gi Hun says, I don't know what they could be. Ilnam says, I don't know, but they look very familiar. And Songwoo, after seeing these shapes, has a flashback to him
Be a child.
as a child. And he sees, I don't know what the food is called. That
It's honeycomb.
It's honeycomb, yeah, but it's made by melting sugar into a syrup and then pressing a shape into it, and then you turn it into sort of like a lollipop. So Songwoo has a feeling that he now knows what this game is going to be.
I think he knows. He doesn't have a feeling. He knows, because you can tell by the look on his face.
Yeah,
And then he downright lies
yeah.
to Gi Hun when Gi Hun says, do you know what it is?
Gi Hun says, have you got any ideas yet? And Songwoo says, no, not yet. The announcement then says you need to choose one of these shapes and line up in front of the shapes. And Gi Hun says to Songwoo, as Songwoo's the strategist, should we work as a team in this one? Should we all go for the same shape? And Songwoo says, no.
Which is ridiculous.
No. So the way Songwoo is treating it is at least one of us has to win. But when your life is on the line, that's probably not the best way to think. You want everyone to live.
The thing that I find ridiculous is he thinks it's a good idea to form a team. He jumps on it straight away. Yeah, let's form a team. Then he gets a hint of what the game is, doesn't share it. Then he has a flashback to what the game is and still doesn't share it. And then says, yeah, I think we should split up in this game.
Yeah.
He's out for himself.
He is. But Gi Hun obviously thinks Songwoo is a nice guy.
And he's telling the truth.
And he thinks he's very smart, which he is, but he's not smart in the way that benefits other people. He's smart.
No,
in
he's
the way
selfish.
Yeah, he's smart in the way that benefits him. So Songwoo says, no, we should all probably split up and take a shape.
But he obviously hasn't learned, because this is how he is in his day-to-day life. And he is in billions of won in debt because of this. So surely you'll learn that lesson and say, do you know what? I've got people in here that want to be my friend. Let's try working as a team.
Yeah.
But straight away, he deceives them.
They decide they're all going to pick a separate shape each. And Songwoo chooses the triangle.
Because it's the easiest.
Well, yeah. he thinks that it's going to involve this honeycomb that you have to cut out. So he chooses what in his head will be the easiest shape to cut out of those four we've mentioned, which would be the triangle. Straight lines, easy enough.
Yeah.
Ali chooses the circle, and he says it's because it reminds him of the moon back home. Ilnam and Gi Hun then sort of have a bit of a chat amongst themselves. So they kind of decide who should have what. And Ilnam says, I'll let you choose. You choose which one you want. So he's got the choice of either the star or the umbrella. And Gi Hun says, I'll take the umbrella. And Ilnam says, why? And Gi Hun says, when I was younger, my mum always used to have a go at me for losing my umbrellas at school. So she used to get me the really crappy broken umbrellas. And I really wanted a really good umbrella, but I never got one. Did you notice that when he was telling this story, Song-woo asks Gi Hun if he really, really wants that shape? And that's because if the game is the game that he thinks it is, the umbrella will be the most difficult shape to cut out.
Yeah.
I think Sung-woo would probably prefer Ilnam get killed than Sung Gi Hun.
Yeah.
So they all line up in front of the shapes that they'd chosen, and the shutters open. Turns out the shapes were doors, and the guards start handing out these small tins. And everybody opens their tins, and they see that the shape that was on the door has been imprinted in the tins. So Sung-woo was absolutely right. There's a little pin inside the tin as well, and honeycomb with the shape of the shape.
Yeah.
You have to cut the shape out with the needle that you get given, the pin, without breaking the shape. If you break the shape, presumably you get eliminated.
Or cracking.
Or cracking the shape that you're trying to cut out. As they reveal their shapes, and as they know the rules now, Gi Hun looks at his shape, which is an umbrella with lots of little intricate corners and stuff, and in his head, he thinks, I'm dead.
Yeah, you can see it.
And Sung-woo sees his reaction from a distance, and Gi Hun looks absolutely
mortified.
And Sung-woo, I think you can tell he's kind of...
He looks a bit guilty.
He feels guilty.
But he shouldn't have been an arse.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think he's thinking it's him or me, and I would prefer it to be him.
Didn't have to be any of them.
Yeah.
So I also noticed as well that Penis Face and Crazy Lady both got stars.
Yeah.
And Sabiak got a triangle. And the guy with the glasses that we saw with the bread roll got a triangle. And then it flashes back to the note, the pink note, where it says honeycomb.
Yeah.
And then he eats it.
Yeah.
He eats the note.
So this character with the glasses, he's being fed information by the looks of it.
So he knows what's going on next.
So that'll explain why he's also chose the triangle, because he knows
what the game is.
He knows what the game is, and he knows that triangle would be the easiest shape to cut out.
Yeah.
So the players are all given 10 minutes to cut their shape out, and they all position themselves in this weird playground setup, and they start cutting their shape out. They've all got different techniques for this. So some people are doing it the way you would expect, where they've got the pin and they're kind of rubbing it along the edges to try and cut this shape out. Ali is snapping off very small parts of the biscuit around the edge. It's going to take him forever, but it will get the job done. Player 456 with that ass.
Gi Hun had his ass in the air, all covered in sand. So obviously he was sat on his ass and decided that wasn't a good position. Let's do it doggy.
I have no idea what the cinematographer was thinking. He was like giving Gi Hun a colonoscopy or something.
I think he had quite a few sexual camera shots in this.
Yeah. Well, Gi Hun's face down, ass up. He's getting to work on this honeycomb.
But you see a gentleman on the slide, player 369.
Yeah.
And he cracks his umbrella.
Yeah. So
he's the first one.
He's got the most complicated shape, and he gets a little bit carried away and he breaks part of the umbrella. And the guard that's watching him, everyone's got a guard watching them, by the way. I think they're watching multiple people, but the guards are keeping a very close eye on the players cutting their...
But they've also got CCTV on them as well.
Yeah. So player 369 is then shot in the head, and he slides down the slide, leading this really long sort of blood trail. We've then got sort of a mini montage of people being executed after breaking their honeycomb. I think the next one is a woman.
Yeah.
And then, it's just a few people that are either, breaking the cookie. Player 212 under the slide, heating up the needle with the lighter that she smuggled in, and she's using that hot needle to cut around the honeycomb.
We then find out that the guy with the glasses is playing a 1-1-1.
Yeah.
and he's the first one to finish.
Yeah.
And then straight after, Sabiak finished.
Yeah. They're then led out of the room, and I think there's a few more people.
Ali passed.
Yeah, Ali passes. During the game, 29, the undercover cop, wearing a circle mask, which is the one that he took from the guy in the car that was inspecting him, wanders in to the arena where they're playing this game. The square says to Circle, undercover cop, have you forgotten what your role is today? And the undercover cop has to kind of say, oh, I'm sorry, I got confused. The square guard says, your job is to come and clear the bodies out after the game. Why are you here now? And he's about to answer, and the square guard says, we'll talk afterwards. So the cop is in trouble. There's a couple of people that are then shot because they broke their biscuit. So Gi Hun is absolutely bricking it. He's sweating because he's having to cut this umbrella out.
That's not yet. So they all get led out. 111, when he's been led out, is right at the back of the queue, and he gets told to turn left while the others are carrying on going.
Yeah.
And then he's greeted by another pink suit.
Yeah. So there's definitely something special about this player. They lead him away from the rest of the group after he's cut his triangle out. Song Woo passes, and this kind of throws Gi Hun off even more. The characters we've got left now, Song Woo and Ali have now gone. They've made it. Sabyak's made it. The weird spectacled character, 111, he's made it. The ones we've got left, we've got player 212, Gi Hun, 101, and Ilnam.
Yeah.
So after seeing Sang-woo cut his shape out and be led out, Gi Hun starts absolutely bricking it. And I think at this point, it might have like 3 minutes left or something like that. So time is ticking on. And Gi Hun notices that the sweat that's dripping off him and landing on this honeycomb causes the honeycomb to get thinner.
Did you notice that first drop, the sweat was like a milky colour?
Yeah.
That was fucking minging.
It was, yeah. But the point is, Gi Hun's noticing that liquid makes the honeycomb easier to
melt in it.
To melt through. So rather than cutting it, he just has to get some kind of liquid on it.
And this is where you get a close-up of his mouthing tongue.
Yeah, I know that Carmel hates anything like, any kind of like mouth noises.
I've got, is it mesophobia or something? The noise.
I have no idea.
The noise irritation. There's certain noises that I cannot stand, and that is definitely one of them. I want to kill my oldest child when he eats me. Is the noisiest eater I've ever met in my life.
So Gi Hun has a technique now where he starts licking the honeycomb. And as he learns this technique or discovers that liquid can melt it, player 212 manages to finish cutting her star out using the heated up needle. So she passes and she notices that the bully gangster character,
in his face,
player 101, is still struggling. And as she's leaving the little courtyard that they're playing in, she drops the lighter on the floor next to him and kind of signals to him, use this, which he does. People at this point then start to see that Gi Hun has a pretty good technique with licking the honeycomb. So they start to copy him, including Ilnam. And during this time, player 101 manages to cut his shape out. He progresses onto the next stage. And then
so Keena's face and El Nam both pass with 11 seconds to go.
Yeah. Gi Hun also manages to slip his umbrella out of the tin.
With 1 second to go.
Yeah. With 1 second left, Gi Hun manages.
He doesn't think he does it because he holds his breath, and then you hear player 456 pass.
I feel sorry for Gi Hun at this part because he cries. He cries with relief because obviously he's gone from just minutes ago thinking he's guaranteed to die in this round. And he made it. He managed to cut this shape out and he's then led out of the room. While Gi Hun's in the room, the timer runs out, but there are other players in the room still working on their little honeycomb. One of the players is covering their tin, and the guard says, show me the tin. And the person says no. And the guard kind of points their gun at them and says, show me your tin. And he shows the tin, and it's the umbrella shape, and it's a broken umbrella.
This is heart-wrenching because he has done it.
Yeah.
He's got it.
He's cut it out.
I just understand snapped. The last tiny bit must have snapped off on the last bit.
Yeah.
Because you can see it's all perfectly cut out, and then the handle snapped.
Yeah. So the guard is about to shoot this guy, eliminate him.
So it's player 119.
Player 119 is about to be eliminated when he suddenly lurches at this guard with the pin in his hand and stabs it through the mask and presumably into the guard's eye. And he manages to grab the guard's gun and he gets behind the guard, points the gun at his head.
No,
As him hostage.
this was to a triangle. He attacks a triangle with the needle, but takes a square hostage.
Yeah. And he kind of drags the square guard to a corner of the room with the gun held to his head. And as I guess a show of power, all of the other guards turn around and shoot everybody else left in the room. So Gi Hun's gone at this point.
Yeah.
He's safe.
It's just everyone that's not passed.
Everyone that didn't pass is now dead. And the only one left is this person that's
It's 119.
is 119, who's took this guard hostage. He then forces the guard who he's holding hostage, turn around and take your mask off. I want to see your face. And he turns around, takes his mask off, and we see that it's a very young person. And the player says, "You're just a kid. What did they do to you?" And then he turns the gun on himself and kills himself there and then.
Yeah.
We then see the front man. The front man enters the room and he walks over to where this dead body is and the guard that is took hostage and surprisingly shoots the guard in the head. He then turns to all the other guards and says, "Remember, when they find out who you are, you die."
But why did the kid have to die though? Because
They found out who he was.
yeah, but nobody did actually find out who he was.
They saw his face. That's good enough.
Is it like, so everybody within the community, including the...
Everybody is it. So this is where we kind of learn. Do you remember in episode 1 where they...
Yeah, I just thought it was the players.
Do you remember in episode 1 where they said we value our anonymity?
Yeah.
That's why they put them to sleep, brought them to the island and everything. So when they take their mask off...
Yeah, every time they can take the mask off is in the room.
Yeah, when they take their mask off and reveal themselves, they have to die. So it looks like the guards are in a way just as much of a victim as the players. Or not a victim, but they've got their own specific set of rules
Yeah.
that they must follow.
Does the car go in and pick up the square mask?
Yeah. So because the undercover cop knows that he's now in danger so long as he's wearing this circle mask, because he has been picked to be spoken to, because he's fucked up. So they're going to want to know more about this guy. Why is he suddenly not able to remember his job role and that kind of thing? He takes advantage of this young man having just been shot by the front man, and he picks up his square
Yeah.
mask, and that's the last we see.
Yeah.
That's the end of the show. So essentially he gets promoted. He gives himself a promotion.
Well, he gave himself a job, so it only makes sense that he gives himself a promotion too.
So in this episode, I think we learn quite a bit about Sang-woo. I think he's probably the character we learn the most about.
Snaky.
Yeah, he is cunning.
It's all about himself. It's like he has a heart, but he never wants to use it. Like he knows what the right thing should be, but always decides to do the opposite.
Sang-woo, I think he's a bit of a realist. He doesn't want his friends to die. However, he knows that eventually they're going to have to.
Well, I wouldn't say a realist. A realist wouldn't put themselves in that much debt. I would say he's out for himself and that's it. A realist would probably be someone like Gi Hun or even Sabiak, because even though Sabiak's out for herself, she is still helping others by giving them little hints.
Yeah. So Sang-woo, very sneaky. I didn't like that he didn't tell Gi Hun or any of the others about what he thought the game could be. He could have saved Gi Hun a lot of stress. I know he won anyway. He managed to get through.
Yeah, but by 1 second.
By 1 second. And also he could have told all 4 of them, choose the triangle. Triangle is the easiest shape. Go for that. And they could have all made it through. I think secretly Sang-woo is thinking about who could be potential competition.
I think he's thinking about the money at the end of it.
Yeah, and he's thinking about who could be competition.
So he's not a realist, he's selfish.
It's the reason why when Gi Hun suggested we could be a team and Il-nam said, "Can I join?" And Gi Hun was very much, yeah, come on board. And you saw the reaction from Sang-woo, which is, don't particularly want this guy on the team. And that's because he's a frail old man. He's not going to be able to help too much in the team games. Whether that's the case, we'll find out. But Sang-woo, I think, he's in it to win. He's not in it to survive. He wants to win. He wants that money.
Whereas the rest of them are there to survive.
They've come back, so they do want the money. But I think they want the money together if they can.
Yeah, they're in it to survive together.
Yeah.
Whereas Sung-woo's not. He's in it for himself and that's it.
And I think Sang-woo is probably the only person that's clicked on that eventually it is going to be, you know, one person versus one person potentially for all of that money. You either get the money or you die. And I think Sang-woo understands that, and he is very much wanting to be the person that wins and takes this money.
I don't like him.
It
Really annoyed me.
I liked player 212. We learn a lot more. She gets a lot more screen time.
She's so crazy, man.
She is crazy, but she gets a lot of screen time
She's
in this
funny.
episode. She's funny.
Sabyok is still my favourite character.
Yeah.
She ballsy.
It didn't feel like we saw Ali and Ilnan too much in this episode.
I don't think we saw much of Gi Hun either.
Gi Hun. We saw enough.
We saw his ass and we saw him licking things.
We saw pretty much his entire rectum. But you can kind of see it's almost like when they were deciding to be a team, they were thinking like children. Let's pretend to be soldiers. You can be the trainee. I'll be the colonel. And
They're trying to make it fun because what they're in for is not fun. They know that they could die. So they're trying to make the best out of a bad situation.
it feels like a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'd probably do the same.
Yeah.
You know what I get like when I'm stressed? When I'm stressed, what do? I laugh at things and take the piss out of it until I finally crack and break and cry.
So what did you think of the game?
I really want to try the game. I'm not going to lie. At the beginning of the episode, while we was watching the slow part of the episode, I was on Amazon searching for the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like in the same way that the guard and contestant costumes were like, you know, everyone was dressing up as them for Halloween 2021. I feel like everybody also bought the dachi envelopes and the tins to make your own honeycomb.
So I have found on Amazon, and we are going to have to buy it and try it and film it. I have found the dachi,
The honeycomb tin.
the honeycomb, and all the other games. We're going to have to buy them and try them because
We should get the Squid Games costumes as well.
our oldest wants to play as well, so we'll have to get him involved as well.
Yeah, I want to be player 69.
Of course you do.
You could be player 666.
I was going to say that. You play a 666, just give me the double horns and a slasher gimmick. I'll be fine.
So, I mean, I felt sorry for Gi Hun in this episode as well, because we saw the shady shit that Sang-woo was doing, but we didn't see, or Gi Hun didn't see these things happening.
I've just clicked to what the title of the episode means.
The man with the umbrella?
It's Gi Hun with an umbrella.
Yeah, I know. I said at the start of the episode I didn't understand.
I still didn't understand why it was called the man with the umbrella. I still didn't get it. I didn't understand why they didn't call it honeycomb.
No.
And it's literally just then when I was thinking, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Come on.
I'm blonde. It's going to take a while, okay?
So, really good episode. We only saw one game, but we kind of get more of an idea of the motivations of some of the more villainous characters, I think.
Isn't it only one game per episode anyway?
No.
Is it not?
No, later on there's like 2 in 1. So we learned in particular about Sang-woo's motivations. He's very much in it to win it. I think he's probably the biggest threat, but obviously we've still got the bully character as well.
Penis face is
Penis face.
just a penis face.
Very interested to see what happens with this spectacled character as well.
What is he up to?
Yeah, he's obviously got some...
Why not getting special treatment?
Yeah, he's getting special treatment. He's obviously got some kind of connection to those running the game. Hopefully we find out soon what that connection is.
Yeah. Well, join us next week for Stick to the Team.
Okay. Well, next episode, episode 4, Stick to the Team. We'll be analysing that next week.
You can find us on Spotify,
YouTube,
Apple Podcast,
Facebook.
and we have a TikTok account.
Make sure you follow us on all social media that we've just named. Make sure you follow in the podcast. We do have other podcasts too. We've got Calm as a Witch, analysing the Charm series. And then we also have our standard Bad Karma Network podcasts. We've got a couple of episodes now. The first is on Urban Legends. Very exciting episode.
And we also have the James Bulger case, which is very sad.
And we also have a new upcoming episode. Ooh,
We won't go too much into what it's about. We'll leave that as a surprise, but it does involve the death of a very, very famous professional wrestler.
Thanks for listening, guys. Take care. Bye.
bye.